Did you give your mom a hug for us?
I did. I
Good.
did. All right. Are we live? It's telling me to go live again. Hold on.
Says it is now live streaming.
Oh, excellent. Guys, sorry. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the nSights live YouTube call that we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're excited to have you here. Thank you for joining. Doug, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's Wednesday. We got a lot going on. At the end of this call, Deb, we'll do a little update on our Saturday call because we got a very, very special Saturday call with a huge opportunity for people. So we'll do a little update on that at the end here.
Awesome. A huge opportunity for our traders in Digibot, right? But then
Yeah.
other people who aren't trading in Digibot can also
Yeah.
take advantage in a different way. So you
All
you
right.
definitely want to come on Saturday and join us for our call. We'll go ahead and post that link on this video after the call. We'll put it in the details. And so we hope everybody will come and join us on Saturday for sure. I'm
Yeah.
excited, Dogs. Really
Oh,
excited about that.
I am too, because it's exactly what we've always talked about. And again, we'll cover that at the end of this, but yeah, super excited.
And for those of you who come all the time, we talk all the time about money management. Our both of our platforms are built on money management. And so with this opportunity, we are taking that money management to a whole new level. And we've talked about it before, but this is outside of coins that we trade. I know we're going to get to it at the end. I'm just so excited for the opportunity that everybody has to get involved.
You know what's really weird though? I just had a flash, Deb. We always talk about insights.
Yeah.
For people that are tuned into this channel that don't know us, we don't really ever talk about Digibot, which was our
No.
original platform, flagship platform that traded on the other way. That traded on there we go. That traded on Binance and Kraken, right? It's an exchange platform where Insights is a DeFi platform. So we're
Yeah.
talking about Digibot, and people are going, well, they've never even talked about Digibot. Well, it's because Digibot takes care of itself. It's not a whole lot to talk about other than
Yeah.
this Saturday. It's going to be a lot to talk about. So hang on to the end of the call. Let's get started, Deb.
All right. So, Doug, what I was hoping we could get into is I took a little peek at I like to follow your account because you do things on this live call and then we go back and we get to check on them. And I know that you've looked at it too, but Altura,
Uh-huh.
ALU,
Yes.
your grid seems to be doing some phenomenal stuff after you went in and used our money management
Right.
techniques to take care of some trades.
Well, and what's really interesting, Bitcoin's having a little breath, taking a little down, right? So the other coins are getting a little breath also. So, we get this ebb and flow, and yeah, ALU, let me share my screen so everybody can see this. I don't have ALU up here. Here's ALU. Okay. So let's look at ALU here. Yeah, I had a trade sell today.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
How
It's
exciting is that?
and what's really cool, Deb, it's one of my cost average trades that I had $225 in.
Oh, that's
So
excellent.
so we'll go look at my mid wallet, but I know I have more money to play with now. That's
Exactly. And
yeah.
I bet, Doug, for any of those that were automatically cost averaged, you've got money now in your auto cost averaging that nSights can use for you
Right.
to
Right, right. Well,
cost average some more of your
both of
trades.
these were manual.
Okay. Yeah.
So we know this, and this went back to the
175.
yeah, went back to my mid wallet, right?
That's excellent.
Yeah, and this stays in the trade, for another trade. So
Stays in the
uh
grid for the next
right,
trade. Yeah. You've got
right.
an open grid line now, unless
Yeah.
it's taken a new trade since.
Yeah. No, it hasn't. I don't see any new trades yet. So yeah.
Excellent.
So but let's look at it on the chart though.
Let's
Let's
do.
see. Well, I can see the blue dot. Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Blue means sell, guys. It's sold in profit. I love when I see blue dots.
Oh, and there we
Look
go.
at that.
Yeah, let me enlarge this.
That is
So,
fantastic.
so here's, it was up here somewhere, and we got to get the programmers to get
Straight up.
that back
Well,
on
I think
for us.
yeah,
So, but
straight up there where that other dot is around where this one
yeah,
did
yeah,
the buy.
somewhere in that area, right?
Yeah,
And we
dropped it
cost
straight down.
averaged here and here, which brought our dot down to here from up here in this range, and we just sold here. So
Nice.
sweet. Now, what's really
So
cool though, Deb, look at I'm heading to the next one.
I
So
love it. And had you not cost averaged that trade, Doug,
we were
we
up
wouldn't
here.
even,
We were above these, I think,
we
when we
were,
started.
well, you were up where the chart is. You've got to be
Yeah,
on the candles.
yeah,
Your first buy was on those candles on that
right.
day. So it's
Yeah,
somewhere right in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'd still be sitting here hoping, right, or waiting, right? But
Yes.
the nice thing is if I waited to here, I would have got out. And again, this is a small account, so it's small trades. But whether it's $50, $500, or $5,000, right? I would have had to wait to here to get out in profit. But by moving it down here, I wasn't dealing with a $50 trade. I was dealing with a $225 trade and
Right.
getting out in profit.
Right. So just to recap for those of you who might be new to our station, when he cost average or bought those little black dots or each time Doug went in manually and added to the original trade. And what that did was it pulled the price point down. The first time it went down to one price, and then he came back in and took another trade, added to the original trade, which
Which,
cost averaged it even down further, which is how you got out in profit today.
yeah. Well, you can see my first cost average was here, which would have put, say this was our original trade in this area, it would have brought our dot down into this range because this was the first cost average. But when the market dropped down here, I cost averaged again, and it brought the dot down to here and
Fantastic.
and I say dot, it brought the trade down to here and
Right.
allowed the trade to get out here in profit.
In profit with the 225 total that you had into that trade.
Right.
That is fantastic, Doug.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
It
So,
is, it's fun when we're printing money like that.
and I think, I looked on TradingView. I noticed Bitcoin was coming down a little bit. Let's look. Yeah, we have, and we can see that. Remember, I set my two trades to get in, and I set them, I think, on aggressive. And
Mhm.
both of my Bitcoin trades now, I'm back in the Bitcoin game, right? And here they
Yeah,
are, right there.
there they are.
Yeah. So sitting nice. I got two trades in, and I have auto cost averaging. Now, you said I manually cost averaged up here, which I did on ALU, but on Bitcoin, I have my auto cost averaging set up. And so if it drops now, I got aggressive on the entry. If it drops now, I'll get in on the auto cost averaging, and let's edit that real quick. Our cost averaging, I have it set up where if the market drops 10%, the first time it will buy $25 worth, but I've set it to do it 2 times. And so the second time it drops, it will buy $35 worth. It adds $10 to the 25. So it goes basically 20% deep. That 20% deep, it could be 20% or deeper depending on if the market's dropping hard, but it will be a bigger buy than my first buy. So it'll give me more Bitcoin at a deeper price. And I set this up at 10, where normally I know Deb sets hers at 15 and 20, and so do I, unless it's really a market that has a lot of room to move. And then I'll set them up, 25 or 30. But in Bitcoin, I set it pretty tight, and it's a 10% drop, and with an additional little boost if it gets to that second cost
Second
average.
trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it adds to the trade at 10%. It'll add $25 at a 10% drop. And then if it drops again another 10%, then it's going to add $35 to the original trade. So that'll be a total of 35 plus 25 plus your original trade, which was probably what, 50?
Yeah, if I'm doing 25, yeah, it's 50. If I'm doing 25 here, it's 50. In fact, I want that second trade to be equal or greater than, and let's do this. Let's go ahead and do this. I pledged 100. I did 2 trades, so they were $50 each. Okay. I always like to trade with equal amount of money on my cost average, unless I do my first cost average less and my second cost average for more. And I want it to, between the two, to average 50. So how do I do that? And I'll get it rough, guys. I'm not going to go in and do the math and figure out, and if my math's a little bit off, this is for
It's all
training,
good.
right? This is
It's
for
just for fun.
training,
We're just
right?
playing, guys.
Right. So my first trade is at 25. And so I'm 25 short on my first trade to be $50. Everybody with me? Does that make sense, Deb?
Yes.
So I'm doing 25, but my trades are 50. So I'm $25 short. So for my second trade, for the 2 trades to equal 50 average, my second trade would need to be $50. Okay. And it's going to tell me that I probably need to add more money to my ACA to do that. But $50. So that would be $75 on my second trade and 25 on my first trade. So the 2 cost average trades would equal $100 or be, what I would do 50-50. But I'm weighting my second trade to be much heavier at $75 instead of doing $50 here and $50 on the second trade. Do 25 on the first one, 75 on the second one, and I'm still dealing with the same $100. I'm just splitting it up a little bit different, but it's telling me it's good to have at least 30%, so if I do that, I need to deposit more BUSD in my mid wallet. Okay. And I have 500 available. Okay. I'm going to just put another $100 in there. So I have enough money to cover that. And that's how simple that is. Okay.
Just so everybody knows, that is, he just moved money out of, it's already inside of nSights in his mid wallet. That's personal to him. It's a private mid wallet. And he just, nSights just took a little bit of money out of his mid wallet and put it directly into his ACA wallet. And the ACA wallet is shared between all the grids that have auto cost averaging automatically turned on. It shares that money throughout. So when a trade closes, it puts that ACA money back into the ACA wallet so that it can be used over and over again inside of your grids.
Yeah.
It's
And
brilliant.
if this ever gets too much, I can always move it out of here back to my mid wallet.
Right.
Here. So
yeah,
we have complete flexibility to move money around, use it as we need to use it. So,
yeah, I love it.
So let's go back to the grid though. I do want to set this one up the way that we were talking about, just for the fun of it. Okay. Let's edit this bad boy. Let's go to our cost average. I'm going to leave the first one at 25. I'm going to set the second ones to 50. Okay. Oh, this wants me to deposit more. Okay, let's deposit a little bit more. Let's do another 100. And it's calculating basically how much it's going to need. And if I took the time to figure that out, I'd be more accurate with it, but it's okay. It's my money. I can move it around, do whatever I want with it. Doesn't matter. I can move it in and out of the cost averaging. All right, let's try it one more time. See if we got enough money in there.
Excellent.
Right. 50. Oh, it's still going to want more. All right. Let's go 25. Well, it's wanting me to deposit more. I'll try it one more time. Give it one more shot here. And you may run into this where if you're really trying to do something like this and the cost averaging is going to cost you too much that you don't have, the system is telling you that you can't do it, right? With the account size that you have and how many cost averages you already have going. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to figure it out. The system right there is telling you, you can see how much you have available. You can see if you can move enough into the cost average to take advantage of it. And if it's too much, then you got to make different decisions, right? You can't stick with that decision. So we'll
I
give
love
it
that it only requires you to put 30% of what would be needed in
right,
order to facilitate all of your trades.
right.
And I love that because you can go ahead and go in without leaving your money sitting in there and not working for you, right? I mean, if the market doesn't drop to, well, in this
Yeah,
case, 20%,
it's
it's not
gonna
going to need
require
all
it.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna require it. Okay, so let's do this. Let's edit this. So I'm gonna do it a little bit different because it's not, there's not enough in this small account for me to do this. So I'm going to change this from 1 or 2 to 1.
There
I'm
you
going to
go.
change this from 10 to 15. I'm going to split the difference. And I'm going to change this from 25 to 75. Okay. And see, now it's going to let me do that. So I have enough in my cost averaging to do one. Now remember, I've got 2 trades. So when I have 2 here, that's taking 4 trades, 2 for each trade, right?
Two
And
for
so
each original trade line.
that's
Yes.
right. And
Mhm.
so it's costing, it's going to cost me more money. Now let's give that other option one more try because I really want to do it.
Mhm.
So we can see how I can modify and make it happen. Okay, it's
Yeah.
different than what I was originally going for, but yet it's a compromise in the money management on my side and giving me the opportunity to take advantage of, getting more Bitcoin at a slightly deeper price. But I still want to do this, see if I can make it happen and give it one more try. I'm going to go $50 on the second, and I'm going to add $100 more. So if this doesn't do it, we're going to go back to the compromise. All
One
right.
thing to remember is the little bit of money that he's moving into his ACA is completely off chain. That is internal to nSights. So you're not being charged a transaction to move that money.
All right, Deb. Here we go.
Okay, let's
Holding
do
it.
it.
Let's do it.
You,
Come on.
that
Oh,
update
no.
button is,
No.
yeah.
Ah.
I think if you just do it for one trade to start, a number of
Yeah.
ACA trades, just do it one time to start. That'll let you keep your numbers the way they are. If you
Yeah.
wanted to leave that at 50.
I think the problem that we're going to have.
Do your fixed amount 50 again right now. I bet it works. With just one trade, that's just twice.
Yeah, it's not going to.
No.
No. So we're going to have to compromise. Okay. This is the life of a trader, guys.
So in this compromise, what he's saying is instead of taking the trade at a 10% market drop, wait until it has a 15% market drop. So he's allowing it to drop further, getting a deeper trade, which means you don't have to put as much money in because you're getting a lot more Bitcoin for that added trade
Mhm. And
because the price is lower.
well, and here's the real compromise. I went from 2 trades, right? Which would have been $100 all in if I did 50-50 like the trade is. I normally match the amount. First trade is 50 and second trade is 50, so it's $100 all in on
Right.
each one of these. So I'm doing 2 grid lines. So it's $200 if both of the grid lines take all of the cost averaging. But
Right.
what I'm doing is I'm eliminating one of the cost averaging. I could leave this at 50 and do 2 at 15 drop each, right? And then that would be $100 all in because it doesn't say I need any more. Okay.
Right.
Because that works. Or I can make a choice. I could say, okay, and I was doing this at 10, right? I was doing this at 10. So 10 for the first one, 10 for the second one. That's about a 20 percent range. And so if I go down to one trade and I split the difference between the 20 and say, okay, I'll go in at 15% drop, but I want to buy more coins. Okay. I'm not doing 2 trades that would be $100. I'm going to do 1 trade that is $75. So at 15%, I'm going to get a lot more tokens because I'm trading $75 worth instead of the $50 worth on a normal trade. So I went a little bit heavier because I'm only doing 1 cost average. And then if I decide to do another one for the 2 grid lines, I will do those manually. I will make the market drop deep enough that I can cost justify getting in with $100 at a deeper price and bringing that dot way down, or that trade way down, like we did with ALU. So I'm setting myself up for success. If it just goes this level and then takes off and runs, I've got more Bitcoin. If it goes to this level and goes deeper, I'm not too heavy, too high that I can't bring that trade down at a lower price and make cost averaging really work for me. So I'm happy with that. That's what we'll do, and we'll hit update.
Yeah, and the good news is you're watching the market, you're watching your grids, right?
Yeah.
And so if that first trade is taken, then you can decide, which is what I love about nSights. You can decide in that moment, well, what do I want to do now?
Right.
Is it continuing to drop? Do I want to add another one? And you can make those decisions as you go.
Yeah. And an interesting thing is, Deb, you watch your trades, I watch my trades, and I learned today you watch my trades. So
I sure do.
but you know, the key is, when I was a Forex trader, I was glued to this seat. Here I'm not. I've got it set up. I'm okay. If it drops 15%, takes a trade. If it drops 20%, turns around and run. I'm not going to cost average at 5% deeper than what I got in at 15%, right? It's
Right.
really got to drop another 20% before I'm even interested in cost.
Yeah.
So I can go play golf. I can go,
Yes.
hey, Mary and I are thinking about taking up pickleball. I could go do that,
Oh,
right?
fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I love pickleball.
yeah, we can live our lives, right? So
Yeah.
we can take a few minutes. And I got to be honest, guys, I don't look at this every day. I just let it do its thing, right? And it does it very, very well. But, you know, every other day, probably about the interval I get on with you guys, I pull it up and I look at it, and I come in and I make little tweaks, and that's all we do. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's good to mention too that obviously past performance is not indicative of future results at all, and we're not financial advisors, so we need to get that out there. By now in this call, you've determined that on your own, so congratulations.
Right. You're intuitive.
Super intuitive. But it doesn't go without saying that we do have traders that come in, set up their grids, walk away, don't look at anything, and their profitability is phenomenal. And don't
Right.
forget about that past performance, a little statement that I just made. But you can be a set it and forget it, even on nSights. Set up your grids, walk away, come back, however many weeks later, and have a look and see what it's done. So
Yeah.
that's the fun part about nSights. You can come in and tweak it here and there if you want, or you can use the automated money management tools that are included in our platform.
Well,
Yeah.
and I would almost argue that in some cases, because I've taught thousands and thousands of traders how to trade Forex and stuff. And I've seen the fear and the sporadic decisions that you can make because, oh, it's not going to drop deep enough, so you get in too early, or
Oh, yeah.
it's not going to go up, you get out too soon. All of the sporadic decisions we can make as traders, that over time, a system that is designed to do most of the work for you, that takes all of that out, will almost certainly outperform most
Absolutely.
traders. So
There's no emotion, right? We didn't build emotion into our platform. So it doesn't sitting back and watching something run and trying to determine, is now a good time? Oh my gosh, did I just miss this trade? Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have. No, it follows the rules. The rules say if it's running, wait for a pullback. And if you're using our pullback grid settings, wait for a pullback and then get in, right? Instead of chasing, we don't trade it. nSights doesn't chase trades, Doug, but that doesn't mean that I don't chase trades, right? My little brain is like, what am I missing? What am I missing? Right. So I
Right.
try very hard not to press the buttons in those moments. And in fact, your training all these years has taught me to just chill, relax. If I don't get this trade, it's not a problem. The system will get one when when nSight says it's a good time. So just
Right.
chill and relax. And it has made it has made all of it so fun, Doug.
Yeah, it
Super
does.
fun.
It takes a lot of the stress off. And
Yes.
you know, one of the things that I've always said, and now we're going to transition into the Saturday call. One of the things that I've always said is that if there's a coin that you fall out of love with, right, and you don't believe in it anymore, or the market's not doing what you want quick enough, there could be a number of reasons why this scenario may become true. That we've designed both nSights and Digi to be able to do a conversion, okay, not a sell. It is functionally you're going to sell one asset and convert it to another asset, but not lose the position of the prior asset. What do I mean by that? Say I'm 40% negative in like quantum BTC because Bitcoin is going up, quantum's feeling the pressure, and Bitcoin hasn't taken a deep enough breath for quantum to recover, right? And the way that we play that market is like a seesaw, right? Where quantum is going down, and hang on one second, folks. Quantum
Well,
is
if
going down and Bitcoin's going up. Well, we're buying quantum when it's going down because we're getting a better buy. We're getting more tokens, right? When Bitcoin takes a breath, then quantum takes a breath and goes the other way. Well, in a strong run, Bitcoin is really running. It's harder for ADA and quantum to take those breaths, even though some of them are doing that right now in the market. And we have seen this every time there's a halving. And Deb has already said past performance is no guarantee of future results, but yet human nature does react the same way over and over again. Okay.
right.
So so in the past, you know, Bitcoin having the Bitcoin goes up. When Bitcoin takes a breath, then the altcoins or the other coins then run. But we bought those coins at a lower value. So now we're converting those back to Bitcoin and getting more Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin, when it does decide to take its next push, you have more Bitcoin. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
we do that. But every now and then there's an opportunity that comes along that says, okay, maybe there's a better option for me than just holding on to quantum or ADA for that breath, right? And we're going to talk about that this Saturday. We have a very, very special offer from Otherverse on their pre-sale of their token that I personally am going to be very involved in because I believe when you hear Brian Schuster's story about Otherverse and his patents that he has on the metaverse that most people don't even know. You know, Deb, he is in a current lawsuit with Epic Games,
Yes.
you know, because they did a concert, Fortnite did a concert. I forget how exactly it went, but I know that out of the 10 main ruling points, he's already won 9 of those 10 points with his patents in the courts, and that'll be settled sometime, I believe, in September. But when the world sees what patents he has and sees the metaverse called Otherverse that he has developed, the world's going to go ballistic. And we have an opportunity to get those coins at an early stage. So when I talk about conversion, I'm talking about taking an ADA or a quantum trade that's 40% negative and converting that into maybe something like Otherverse, a pre-sale token, right? That has a potential mini X uptime opportunity and still tracking that 40% negative. That's the key, right? It's a
Yes.
conversion. So we track the 40% negative when we're above that negative position and we can buy Bitcoin back at a better price or get more Bitcoin for our money. If we want to do that, we can take the other verse tokens and sell those instead of taking the ADA or quantum tokens and selling those. So we came up with the idea when we first started this that we would never leave a trade negative.
Yes.
And everybody said, you know, you're nuts, you can't do that. But the reality is you can. You own the asset. The question is how do you track your trade? It's not about the asset. It's about your trade. So whether I'm in quantum 40% negative and I convert to other verse or another token and I track that trade, not the coin, track the trade, and I track that 40% negative to a positive number, now I've not let any trade close in a negative position. And we're going to talk about that on Saturday. Brian is scheduled to be on the call with us Saturday morning. And if you've not heard Brian speak, you know, the only thing I can say, we both were in Scottsdale speaking at a convention. I was a guest speaker and so was he. And we were both speaking there, and I'm sitting in the front row with Mary, and Mary's not a crypto person, you know, she's just, you know, I tell her it's just like, okay, you know, but she's sitting in the front row and she looks at me and she goes, are we listening to a Steve Jobs?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, absolutely, 100%. Man's brilliant.
He is brilliant.
Brilliant. And so if you haven't met Brian, I encourage you to be on the Saturday call. If you're in DigiBN, if you're in nSights, if you're just hearing this, click the link, join us on Saturday, learn what Otherverse is. And yes, you can take advantage also.
Yeah.
But it'll be this Saturday, and encourage everybody to be there.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Brian Schuster is phenomenal, and in his background is so fun to listen where he came from, because he's back in the early days of JavaScript. He's back. He's like he's leading the charge in all of that. And if you don't know, you heard Epic Games. For some of us, we don't realize that that's Fortnite, and for a lot of us, we have people in our house that love playing Fortnite, and that is who Otherverse sued because of patents. And how many patents he has? Doesn't he own
80 plus patents?
80 plus patents, which, like, there's a huge percentage of everything that can be done in the metaverse.
Oh, moving of your eyeballs.
He owns a patent for. He and his brother saw the future with regard to the metaverse in its inception, in the beginning of thinking about what it could be.
18 years ago.
18 years ago, right?
They were filing patents.
How many of us even understood the metaverse 18 years ago?
Right. Yeah, it wasn't in our brains, right? But
not at all.
He knew where this thing was going, and he was there when the web first started, guys. He's the guy that developed banner ads. Before banner ads, the internet had no economic value. And Brian was the one that developed banner ads, and it's the thing that really launched the internet. He was here in the beginning, guys. Deb is almost around as long as I've been around. So, and that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. I told the staff I learned to program on a Tandy computer. Now that dates me.
That dates you right there. So. It absolutely does. My first computer was a Commodore 64.
Oh, that dates you.
That also dates me.
So join us on Saturday, guys. 7 a.m. Pacific time. Link will be in this chat. So
in the description. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. It was nice seeing you. We'll see you again on Friday. We'll come live. We'll take a look at what we've done with some of these trades. We'll see what's happened. And then on Saturday, I can't wait to see you all there. Please don't forget to join us. All right. Thanks, Doug, so much. We'll see you on Friday.
Thanks, Deb. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.